it's me, Jenna with the White Witch Parlor, and today I wanted to talk about scrying, the sacred and magical art form, which is the practice of divination through the art of gazing. It's letting your subconscious come forward when you're softening your gaze and going into a meditative state. There's nothing to be fearful about it, and in fact, if you bring fear into this practice, you're gonna probably manifest a few darker demons and just things that you don't want around your practice or your home or your sacred space. So the best thing to do before ever starting any kind of scrying or divination practices is to protect yourself with a white bubble of light and love, a protection spell, or anything that makes you feel like you're going to be safe in this environment and in this practice. Several cultures have used the art of scrying for years, and it's very simple to do, but again, it's not something to take lightly because you really want to get into this practice and take it seriously and have respect for it. When you are gazing, you are tapping into the spirit realm and you are looking for messages and guidance, so it's not something that you want to abuse or take for granted. Scrying can be done in many different ways, and throughout the ages, many people have done it through looking at the dark waters of a well, a wishing well, and when you gaze upon these dark waters, you start to see other images pop up. And it's not just the physical reflections of trees in the skies, but it's the reflection of your subconscious coming forth, and you're just softening your gaze and going into this meditative state. So you're no longer focusing on the physical images that are coming up, but rather the images that are coming from within. Some cultures like to introduce crystals to this practice by using the shiny surfaces of obsidian and dark or blacked out mirrors where the reflection is just darkened so that the images that it's reflecting are not so vivid and prominent, so that you can better go into this deeper state of meditation. The more you practice this art of scrying, the stronger your visions and messages will become. You might even make a connection with the spirit or a deity that you find is coming to you to deliver these messages personally. Again, always give your thanks and gratitude, and never ever take this practice for granted. Don't try and use this to amaze your friends or wow your friends. Just use it simply for your own spiritual growth and guidance. You don't always need specific tools, but you can use anything that's dark reflective. You can also use simple reflective objects as well, but when they're darker, like I said, it's a little bit easier to go past the physical reflections and go deeper into your soul. So if you need to, you can always get a bowl of water, and on a dark night or when there's a full moon, you can just take your water, put a crystal in the bowl, and simply sit outside and let the soft reflection of the moon kind of filter that water so that you can see a little bit of reflection and let yourself go into a gaze. It also helps to use these dark reflective surfaces with candles. When you light a candle in front, the candle really helps you get into a meditative state, as the element of fire is something, it drives this passion within us, and it will allow you to go further and beyond your physical state of mind so that you can really allow this flame to ignite something within and something deeper in your subconscious. The flame may dance in the mirror or in your reflective surface, and this might be a signal to you that you need more movement in your life. It might make shapes or images that subconsciously are coming to you. The reason why reflective surfaces and mirrors are really important in the spiritual world and in a spiritual practice is because it is long said that mirrors hold this reflection into the spirit realm, and they are a doorway and a portal. And for a long time during the Victorian era, they actually used to believe this so much that when someone was sick or about to pass on, they'd often go through the house and cover all the mirrors with dark fabric to keep the spirit from wandering or getting lost, and instead helping them to find the light to heaven or the doorway to heaven, so that they wouldn't forever get trapped in the mirrors. In a lot of voodoo and hoodoo cultures, they still believe this, and this is why they try to trap their enemy's spirit into the mirrors. Through the art of scrying, you need to create your boundaries. You need to create a safe space for you to make this a practice of light and love instead of something that's dark and scary, because like a Ouija board or any other divinational practices working with the spirit realm, you don't want to be afraid of it. You want to embrace it and cherish it. You want to give thanks to it for the message and the clarity that it's bringing to your life. The art of scrying is also called clairomancy, oculomancy, or the art of gazing. The old word scrying actually comes from an older English word called descry, which means to make out something dimly. Therefore, it makes this art form a way to foresee through our second sight. By making this practice a habit, we actually begin to really open our third eye and really see into things so we can find guidance not only for ourselves but for our loved ones or for those who might come to you looking for spiritual guidance. Native Americans still use this practice, and it's said that a lot of Egyptians also use this practice as well. It has over the years become a pagan practice, but you don't have to be pagan or a witch to practice it. You can just be interested in the metaphysical world and interested in possibly tapping into the spirit world, seeking your guides or your angels so that you can find this better guidance on your path. Scrying simply helps us get in touch with our subconscious mind to help us get through emotional times or anything that we're struggling with. It's often practiced that you can also do scrying in other forms rather than gazing into a reflective surface. You can also gaze upon the smoke of incense or the white sage that you might be burning to smudge your sacred space. Some people like to practice scrying through pouring hot wax over cold water and watching the shapes that form. Some people like to call upon their angels or guides and then stare at the clouds and watch the shapes that they're forming into, taking it as messages or symbols. You can also throw a pebble upon a lake or a river and watch the ripples form, watching how they form, signifying time and space. You can pour oil into water and watch what forms out of it. You can scry through gazing upon a bonfire or any kind of flame that you might have going in your cauldron or on a candle and just getting lost in the fire and watching it. Watch its movements and the way it's dancing and listen to what it's telling you, subconsciously of course. Like I said, you can try doing this art of scrying through watching the smoke of incense, or you can even try gazing upon your crystals, especially anything that has a dark reflective surface like obsidian or onyx, or something that has a really clear, pristine surface like clear quartz, or even selenite, watching the way the light shifts and changes through the pieces of selenite that you might have. Some things that people might find unusual is the art of scrying through gazing into another person's eye. The iris tells the story of the soul. It's its own universe, and when you gaze into the eye, you can kind of foresee their future. You can see where they've been and where they're going. This practice takes a lot more time and effort and patience. Once you really get comfortable with it and you can stop giggling with your friends and you can stay serious, you can really dig deep by looking into the windows of their soul and into the eye and seeing where their story is going to take them. Scrying is simply just putting yourself into a trance and into a meditative state, letting your mind wander freely without causing any ego to place judgment or place images or thoughts in your mind. You can even accompany this with automatic writing by writing down thoughts or images or words that are coming to you while you're doing your scrying practices, so that later you can read back all this information and then you can start to form an opinion out of it, so that at the time of your practice you can simply let your mind just go. You can let the thoughts wander and let the subconscious speak clearer to you. Again, the more you practice this, the better you will get at understanding the images and the words and the messages that are coming through to you. You might see something as a falling leaf representing you need to shed something out of your life. You might see different images that start to make sense to you over time. And when they become a symbol of something in repetition, you will become very good at deciphering what these images and words and phrases mean to you. Through this, you will begin to create your own little diary or journal or dictionary of your subconscious readings and what these things mean to you, so that when your practice gets really good, you can start to help others in guiding them, so that when you start to see these images or phrases come to you, you will know exactly what they mean. Scrying allows communication with the higher realms, your angels, your guides. You can access the Akashic records to see where you've been, where you're going. You can understand your life path and the contract that you made before you came here on earth, so that you can better understand why you're going through some of the things you're going through in this lifetime, so that you can blossom from it and enlighten yourself. And it's really a beautiful magical art. It's something that really enhances your magical practices as a witch or any spiritual practitioner that you may choose to be. It really helps with all these things, but again, never take it lightly. Never play with it just for fun. Take it seriously and ask serious questions that you need guidance on at that point in your life. You can always go back to it. You can always do the simple method. You can set up a whole sacred space and cast a circle, or you can just get into a meditative trance, cast a bubble of protection around you, and just gaze upon some incense smoke and let your mind and subconscious wander until some messages and guidance come forth. And I used to sit out on my balcony, and this was years ago, and I used to let the wind guide me. And whenever I felt like I needed guidance, I would just get quiet and I'd sit on my balcony, and the wind would tell me when everything would be okay or when everything needed to shift its direction. So I listened to the wind, and I would let the wind decipher a lot of my stuff. But then later on, when I got deeper into my practice, then I started working more with pendulums, and I would actually use a lot of bowls of water to kind of watch the water and watch what it was doing, or watching how the candlelight would reflect off something shiny, and just kind of gaze upon that. So I didn't always have the proper tools or setup, but again, it's important to use what you have around you. Sometimes you don't have any tools and you're just in nature, so look into a puddle that might be on the floor. Look into the trees, the way they're glistening and moving. They might be trying to tell you something through the elements of nature. So again, it's important to open yourself up to stuff and don't close yourself up from anything, and use what you have available. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of tools. You can simply get a bowl of water and gaze upon that, light a candle. Or if you don't have that, like I said, you can always find a puddle outside, stare upon it, or a little stream or a lake. Do what you feel is safest and best for you, and the more comfortable you get with it, the better you can start incorporating tools and crystals and all other kinds of fun things. And those are just tools that help you. But again, the magic always starts with you. The power is in you already. So all you have to do is tap into it and open yourself up to it. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, you can always give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Love you guys so much, and have a beautiful and blessed week. Bye.